Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode here of our developer stream at World of Tanks. How are you doing, Mr. Bam?
Great. The chat is cracking me up here. We're still like gun ho to bring Dave Landia to the game, aren't we? Petty, Dave Landia, the place of magic and wonders.
It needs to be done, right? Or TBD, right? We're still in discussions of what
Still
the
in
place,
discussion.
what we're gonna name it.
For context, for those who might be wondering, what is Dave Landia? We are referring to the community map because we did float the idea in the past of asking the community for some names, and comically that one comes up quite a bit, which is pretty funny. More news on that later to come, but what I will say, had a brief talk and review over the current status of the map itself. And just want to say the artist working on the map itself, it's looking pretty good. It's pretty fantastic. It will be very different when you guys get your hands on it later in the year.
Just say that it's looking spicy.
It's looking spicy.
I like it. I like it.
Mr. SPG, I can guarantee that the matchmaker will never, ever pick a map with Dave in any part of the name. Well, shoot. Sorry to all the Daves.
Listen, never say never.
Right.
All right. What's in store for us in World of Tanks this week, Mr. Bam?
Well, here we are. The Flames of War season finally released this past Tuesday. Hopefully you guys are already digging deep into the season pass and all of its content offerings here. As you guys know, what's being seen here behind me, Flamethrowers. Yes, very hot new content coming to the game, but not yet released into the season just yet. You'll have to wait just a little while longer, and we'll have some details to share fairly soon on that too. But yes, here we are, Flames of War season. Hopefully you guys are jumping in and enjoying it. Let's talk a little bit about the season pass content offerings and what you guys can look forward to on that. Starting up with a free pass, we have our 2D Commander, which you can unlock at the level 75 stage. Morrigan. And joined by Morrigan, we have the Marbrocker, the VK16801, German Tier 8 Heavy. And here we have it on screen. This is, of course, the level 100 stage as part of the Flames of War free season pass. Up next in our 2K Gold Season Pass, at the level 25 stage, you can unlock yourselves the AC4 Experimental British Tier 6 Medium. Joined with that, and here we have it on screen. Thank you, Tankz0rz. At level 75, also in the 2K Gold Pass, the IS-3 Auto Soviet Tier 8 Heavy. Here we go. And a brand new Era 3 Eastern Heavy at the level 100 stage, the Object 292, a Cold War tank coming to you guys, equipped with a very large 152mm gun, capable of punching through some serious thick armor and massive blows of damage. And overall, very great mobility to help get you guys into position and adapt to the evolving battlefield itself. Last but not least, our ultimate season pass here. We have the brand new Project Murat, our Tier 10 French medium. This comes equipped with great mobility again, and thanks to its high power and weight ratio and top speed, this allows you to quickly get into position and relocate as the situation calls needed. It does mount a 3-round autoloader capable of dealing a roughly 1,170 burst damage. And due to this, it performs best as a support role where you can inflict massive damage and take cover while you reload. It also has superb gun depression with up to 12 degrees, allowing it to use ridge lines very effectively without overexposing your tank. You will want to fire from a stationary position as it will have poor accuracy, and especially if you are mobile at high speeds. Also in our Ultimate Season Pass, a new 3D Commander, we have Andre Lemaire.
Give me 1 second. There's Mr.
Tankz0rz
Andre.
digging. There we go. Here he is. Here we go. Andre Lemaire, everybody. All right. So on the topic of the Ultimate Season Pass, let's kick off this stream. Giveaway time. Let's put the link into the stream chat, and we'll pick 2 lucky winners who will be receiving the Ultimate Season Pass.
All right. For your chance to enter for this giveaway for the Ultimate Season Pass, go ahead and click on that link in chat, and you'll be entered for all of our giveaways.
All right. So some of the other content offerings that came with the new season. Returning map, Ruinberg. I know this was a map that players were asking for and looking forward to for a while. This is now back in rotation. It is in World War II, tiers 3 and up, and in all eras in Cold War. Really quick, I do want to make a mention, because I saw this being brought up in the chat as well. There was... Previously, Ruinberg did have some extra kind of rubble piles scattered throughout the kind of urban section of the map. It's very worth noting that this version of Ruinberg is the original version of Ruinberg. Our old version that you guys are referring to is very much the war variant of Ruinberg. But we are going to take that into consideration. We know that that was kind of important, and you guys are calling out like great hull down positions and cover-to-cover advancement opportunities. We'll take note of that. And see if maybe addressing some improvement to Ruinberg into the future. Yeah, a loaded cycle. Ruinberg needs some rubble piles back. We'll take note of that. We'll see what we can do.
Nice.
Up next, more Cold War medals. This has been brought to attention before. A little too early on that one, Tankz0rz. No one saw that. No one saw that. Cold War medals. We are on wave 2 of our Cold War medals. This does include, if you guys are ATGM users, we have a specific medal just for you. The ATGM expert, all you have to do, well, I say all you have to do, it would take a little bit of skill. Destroy 3 or more vehicles in a match with missiles to award that medal. We do have a few epic medals as well, requiring you to destroy up to 7 tanks in a match playing as either the Independent. We have a specific medal for playing as a Western Alliance tank or an Eastern Alliance tank. And then, of course, we have some stage medal rewards as well, where it just requires you to destroy X number of tanks over so many different battles in Era 1, 2, and 3. Up next, we've also introduced multi-open keycard support. So long gone are the days where you guys might be sitting on a few dozen key cards, and one at a time you have to go through the animation and open it up. You can still do that if that is just something you wish to do, but we had added a bit of improvements where you can now open multiple at a time and get the reward screen to kind of pan through all the rewards at once, if you so desire. And as you guys may have seen in our Portal article that went live last week, lots of balance changes in World War II across many tanks. We're not going to cover them on stream. Please be sure to check out the Portal article if you are curious what tanks are receiving buffs, nerfs, balance updates, etc. They will all be provided to you on our Portal page. Okay. Let's talk very briefly on flamethrowers, because I know players want to know what is coming, what tanks are there. You may have seen something in the trailer. There's a tank sitting here behind me. I'm still going to stress we're not going to talk about any specific details just yet until they are a little bit closer to release, coming very, very soon. And our content team is working hard to make sure we have good game guides and articles ready for the release. But we can guarantee they will raise the temperature into the battle. Now, I want to give a brief recommendation to the players to give you guys a bit of a head start prior to the release of flamethrower tanks. A recommendation from us to the community. Who out there has completed their World War II checkline tanks? If not, I think it would be in your best interest and worth your time to maybe start looking into the progression and unlocking some of the checkline tanks. And I will leave it at that. We will leave it at that.
Sounds like you're just throwing fuel into the fire, says Mr. SPG.
We have a surplus of fuel. Which? Check line. Look into the check line. I'm not going to give any more specifics than that. Okay. Wargaming's 25th anniversary. Here we are, a fantastic milestone for us as a company. This is the company at large, not just our game, of course. We are getting closer and closer to our personal 10-year anniversary as a game. But the company, believe it or not, has been around for an astounding quarter of a century. And we are going to, of course, acknowledge this in our game itself. In the store, you can look forward to select offerings such as the Crimson tanks. Select tiers 2 and 3 tanks that have since been removed from the tech tree, the premium tech tree, that is, as part of our From the Vault collection. I know there are players out there that always ask if we are bringing them back. There are players that still like to jump into matches as tiers, to those lower tiers in any case. We also have a selection of boosters as well as consumables that will be arriving in the store, and some exchange bonuses for Commander XP, where 1 gold can now bag you 35 free XP, and various cosmetics on sale, and this will include skins, tank skins. Then we are also bringing back our contract for the long reach. You can find that, of course, in the contracts tab if that is a tank that you have yet to unlock for yourself. And our tank of the month is the Talon T44-122. Other challenges going on. We have our weekend event, the Purple Heart Recognition. Now, of course, this is a medal awarded to those wounded and or killed while serving in the U.S. military. And we have a challenge to go along with this for earn 5,000 or more XP in any number of battles, and you can receive the emblem for the Purple Heart Recognition medal. And this will be available once per day. Wrapping up. One other thing here. As of this morning, we brought back the control mode beta. This is back and live again, with focus on World War II and Tier 8 once again. If you guys missed out on our previous beta test for control mode back in July, hop on in right now. It's going to be available through the entire weekend, starting today through Sunday. And for those of you that might not be aware of what is this new mode, what is this, like, why are we trying out these new ideas and modes, etc. We on the development and design side are trying to deliver more event battles into the game that aren't strictly just like our Halloween or holiday event modes, but try to think about more creative game modes that let you, the player, pick your collection of tanks and bring them into new forays of battle that is outside of the random battle format. Please check it out. It is a much faster pace if that is kind of your jam. You can very well hold position here. There's the maps themselves are all about capturing and controlling a base. No longer does capturing a base end the match itself. You have to collect points. First team to hit that 1,000 point threshold will win the match. Points are accrued by owning a base. You'll receive 3 points every 2 seconds roughly, or 30 points for every tank that you destroy. Worth mentioning, last season when we ran the beta tests, it used to be 50 points per tank destroy. We wanted to take in the feedback that the players and the super testers have given to us, and a lot of it came by that players wanted these matches to last longer. In a previous stream, we did hop on here and we shared a lot of our data and our findings to help inform us on what is the next steps and where do we take our control mode into the future. And so we are trying out some ideas and methods to kind of extend the duration of the match themselves. Our initial goal was to kind of fit us within the 5 to 7 minute average match time. New goal being somewhere more like 7 to 8 minutes, because we do know there is very much opportunity to have blowout matches that could end within 3 to 4 minutes. And that's not always a very fun experience in any case. So we are making adjustments on that front, and the first step in that direction is just reducing the amount of points that you would earn when destroying tanks. An internal test has already shown that we are seeing a nice bump in the increase of match time. And just like before, we'll come back on stream in weeks to come, and we'll kind of mull over the data, share it with you guys, see how it's performing, and kind of proceed from there. And this round, we have some of the same maps as before, including Airfield, Himmelsdorf, and Overlord. But of course, we also wanted to include Ruinberg, the returning map, as part of the season. So that will also be in this smaller map pool rotation as part of our control mode beta. You can, of course, access the control mode if that was something anyone was asking or curious about. You'll see it on your game modes screen at the very bottom beneath custom games. You should see a new option for control mode beta test. And one last note I'll make on the control mode. Another change that we did make is a self-destruct penalty. Because this mode does have respawn, and you will come back into the battle with a full bill of health. But prior to this, if you ever self-destructed, no points were given to the enemy team. That is no longer the case. If you do happen to self-destruct or choose to self-destruct, yes, you'll respawn, you'll get back into the match, you'll have your health refilled, but those points, the 30 points, will be given to the enemy team on destroy.
Awesome.
And that's what I got. Please check out control mode again this weekend. And hey, if you're more of a Cold War player, stay tuned next weekend. Control mode for Cold War Era 2 will be coming along next weekend.
Awesome. Nice to see some of these updates that we spoke about a couple weeks ago coming to fruition here.
Exactly. And I very much want to stress beta test. We will continue to tune and polish this game mode experience as time goes on. Do expect much more of these beta tests happening on select weekends. We will do our best to kind of alert and make sure you guys are aware of what's happening.
I believe we have some Ultimate Season Pass winners to announce here, Mr. Bam.
We have both of them selected?
Yeah, both of them selected.
All right, who's our lucky winners here?
Our first winner here is Vash Guns. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And our second winner here is Mala XOVSV. Congratulations to both of you.
Awesome. You'll both be receiving Ultimate Season Passes for the Flames of War. Congratulations.
I'm going to go ahead and enter your names into chat, just in case if I butchered your names.
Gunny531. What was that accidental picture in the background?
I'm not sure what we're talking about.
I'm not sure what we're talking about. I think we're ready to move on to some of our next week content offerings. Do we have something to show the players?
So, for next week... Wait, what are we're supposed to talk about something here as well?
Here we go. I think the players called it. The Jaguar 1, yes, is coming to the game next week. And yes, as seen in the trailer, this is our second ATGM-only vehicle in Cold War, Western Alliance Era 3. This is a tank hunter with a sleek, low-profile hull, given an excellent stealth and concealment to blend in with its environment. all on top of that, with great mobility and the ability to drive forwards and backwards at the very same top speed. Giving that Weasel a bit of a run for its money a bit, huh? In any case, Tankz0rz, let's kick off our next giveaway. We'll do 2 more lucky winners. We'll kind of let this one sit for a bit until we get to our Q&As. 2 lucky winners for their chance to win the Jaguar 1.
Sounds good. Go ahead and click on the link in chat if you haven't entered. If you entered already, you're good to go. And you'll be eligible for our brand new Jaguar 1.
Okay, also next week, we have an on-track, my favorite tank here, the M1A2 Abrams Era 3 in Cold War. Look forward to that. If this is a tank that you guys don't yet own, this might be the opportunity to help that grind and progression through the Western Alliance line here. M1A2 on-track Abrams coming next Tuesday. And then further on to our 25th anniversary sales, this is week 2. We have the Kunstpanzer and T22 Medium coming to the store. Plus tanks for free XP coming in the premium tech tree. 50% discount on various commanders that will be available in the commander reel and commander skill respec, as well as the tank to free XP conversion. We'll be changing that from the commanders to tanks to free XP. 1 gold will net you 35 free XP. And lastly, another contract coming along. The FE 1066 Senlac will be available as a contract. And here we have it now. And I believe that takes us to our Battle Feats segment. Are we ready for this one, Tankz0rz?
We are ready.
Okay. And as always, all the individuals that we call out today, you will be receiving confidential key cards. And we have a highlight tank for this week, the new Object 477A Molot. So starting off, we have SM Devil 172, who achieved 11 kills in a single battle. Double Yuski, with a max damage caused in a single battle of 28,553. Maniac 9524, max combined assisted damage of 14,844 completed in a single battle. And then we have Fig Jam 3305, max blocked damage in a single battle, 22,030. That one's very interesting to see. If you guys haven't gone up against a Molot, it has very strong frontal armor. Aim for that side, because these people are going to max collect that block damage very easily if you guys can't get a flank on these guys. Then lastly, also in the Molots, we have Dab Main, max XP earned in a single battle of 2,753. Then our medal showcase, also in the Molots, in the past 2 weeks, achieved by ADM 272924, who earned 92 high caliber medals. And then Saitovoy 27, earning 68 Confederate medals. And lastly, who's this guy? 8415, earning 5 Defender medals, also in the Molot. That's very appropriate for the Molot to be collecting the Defender medal. And let's wrap it up here for our milestone users here who crested amazing numbers of battles at 100,000 battles. We have Tom, was that 1,951, and Dice666LOZ for hitting that 100,000th battle threshold. And lastly, we have at the 110,000th battle threshold, Karaoke Man 127 and Stingray 01. Congrats to you all. Thank you for sticking around and playing so many amazing battles. And what is it we say from here, Tankz0rz?
That's a lot of battles. So, yeah, thank you all for achieving all these amazing, awesome feats, as always.
Who was that guy? When was that guy? Where is that guy? Why is that guy?
Yeah, I saw that guy's name. I thought it was pretty interesting. I liked it.
It's who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? All right, that takes us on over to our Q&As. Are we ready for this segment here, Tankz0rz?
Mr. Bam, we were born ready. We stay ready. All right, here we go. Our first question here is, can you add audio feedback when all members of the platoon ready up? It helps commanders that are waiting and not looking at the screen. Any possibility for reducing the volume of some commanders, or maybe as a user setting, Ash, the cat can be sometimes a little bit too loud, and apparently also Mr. Arnold here.
Mr. Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. So,
tell you what, we'll talk with our audio director. We'll see about some improvements there. On the platoon ready up thing, I do think that's a good idea. There is not enough auditory feedback to let users know that, hey, everyone's waiting on you.
Yeah. I could agree with that, because sometimes the UI element's nice, but maybe a little sound as well would be helpful.
Yeah. In terms of like a user-driven setting to adjust the commander VO volume, again, we will have to talk with our audio director and see about what we can do on that front.
Alrighty. Let's see. Next question here. Could we have a Blackbeard as a 3D commander for the event with pirates, and Lord Dracula as a 3D commander too for the event of Halloween?
Well, everyone really does love their pirate commanders. I guess our Jolly Roger commander, who is our current pirate 3D commander in the game, he's not really skin and bones, but just bones. I guess having a commander that's a little bit more alive might be a great option. We can float this to the team, see if that's something that we can develop. Our art director and the team that works on our 3D commanders, I think, have a pretty solid schedule of what's to come in the near future. No, there's not going to be a Blackbeard commander in time for the upcoming, Talk Like a Pirate Day. But we'll keep that one in mind for sure. And on your Lord Dracula 3D commander idea, thanks for the suggestion, but it's not currently something we're doing for this Halloween. Maybe in the future.
Keep it in mind. Next question here. Can we offer a special gift to each specific birthday of the player? I'm assuming they're maybe talking about the account's birthday, per se.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe their own birthday. I'm not sure.
I guess we can tackle this in two different ways, right? Their account anniversary, maybe, which we kind of have like your anniversary emblem stamp, right, for playing so many years. That's right. Kind of a special gift that we give to the players. But something that might be more akin to, hey, my birthday, I wish the game would acknowledge that I turned X years old and get me something. It's an interesting idea. We can talk with Live Ops to see if that's something we can try. The first thing that comes to mind is if this is an exploitable feature to the players. Every day is your birthday. You just kind of change the system settings or something,
Bam,
right?
You can't change your birthday. You can only have one a year, okay? Not every day could be your birthday, Bam.
I think that depends on the reward, right? If it's a good enough reward, every day can be someone's birthday.
Nice. All right, next question.
Dave GM, can I get a new map for my birthday? When's your birthday? We'll see what we can do in time.
Savelandia. Will we be getting any new Halloween tanks this year? How about a Halloween Cold War tank? If so, I suggest making an unawakened version tasteful. Just a modest skin. The awakened version can be as wild as you want.
Right. So, too early to talk about anything of our Halloween season and awakened tank content coming in. Yes, there's going to be some new things coming along. Nothing I can give in terms of specifics just yet. But now, you do say something very interesting here. I suggest making the unawakened version more tasteful. I believe this is a direct call out to our Arachnid monster tank, which, yes, it's unawakened version in the game has giant spider legs. Happy to say that we are going to be applying a change to the arachnid by next Halloween season, in which is going to be more tasteful for the non-awakened version. So, because we heard the feedback, we know that's some players even have arachnophobia, and that could be something kind of frightful to see on the battlefield. So, yes, we are applying some changes to that.
Next question. When will the next event, like War Hero Legends be? On the website, issues were resolved, everything went smoothly, and I did enjoy the event and the rewards.
So our publishing team, who worked really hard and made the whole War Heroes Legends system work for you guys, it was a very well-received thing by the players, and they do acknowledge that. There is nothing currently in plan, but we'll be sure to let you guys know when we have something like that coming up in the future.
Here's a question for you. Does the Calliope T-34 have workable missiles that behave similar to ATGMs?
No. So the Calliope, this is very much a World War II vehicle. This will have dummy fire, non-guided rockets. The tank fires unguided rockets. These rockets will have lower velocity than the missiles. So players will have to kind of change to dodge the incoming rounds that are flying at them. So there is no way that you can continue to guide it toward your targets. Just aim well and hope it lands, but you will have multiple rockets to fire.
Next question. Is there any possibility for us to share the last recent matches of the replays?
To share your replays.
Does that mean with like friends or social media?
That's what I'm trying to figure out the exacts on this question. It's either like, yeah, being able to share with your other tankers in the game, like, hey, look at what this awesome moment that happened in the game or something, or maybe it might be something more like sharing on social media. It's not on our radar. We'll probably take note. It's going to be very much a backlog item for us to kind of follow up on. I will note that I like this idea. And this would be something that we try to think of when more social like elements that we want to push into the game. So we can try to think about that in the future.
Let's see. Next question here. Can we change the HUD font and make it a little bit bigger and a little bit bolder? Maybe change the saturation of the red and green colors and make it stand out against the rest of the on-screen objects.
Well, late last year was our kind of big revision and updates to the HUD, where we acknowledge that there was a lot of lacking HUD elements or things that could be better clarified on the HUD, and we tried to bring things kind of back to important features of the HUD that players remember in the past. But we also had to keep in mind new players or those of players that may have adjusted to the HUD as it has been. And we tried to find kind of the happy medium of all things. So right now, what I will say, there is no further plans to make bigger HUD changes like that. But I do understand and want to acknowledge that there's a player base out there that may have some difficulty seeing some of the finer HUD details or text and would like a better accessibility option to make it a little bit more legible on screen. We'll definitely take note of it and follow up on maybe improvements in the future, but we'll have to talk with the UI team. Anytime things come up on the HUD, it does become a bigger tasking, a tall order, I should say, on the UI team with everything else on their plate going on. Awesome.
Next question here. Do we have any info on the AAT60 and how its breakdown of performances across the game?
Plague, our lead tank designer, had a quick check at this. Unfortunately, I was not given data tables to share with the team, or the team and you guys as a community. But he did give a brief summary that the tank is performing well, and all skill groups are performing roughly the same. This might be something we can try to follow up on maybe next week to have, because we love trying to share with you guys a little bit more clarity on how certain tanks are performing and showing that data itself. So we'll try to keep that in mind. There is actually, now that I note, looking at the rest of these questions here, there is quite a lot of tank related questions coming up, certain balance things, changes, or what are upcoming releases. So I do have to give a shout out to Plague, pulling some time out of his day to address a lot of these questions. But no, we didn't have any materials just yet to prep to showcase on stream this week.
Next question here is, do we have any Tankz reforged coming for Cold War in game modes anytime soon?
You can look forward to an upcoming balance pass on select Cold War tanks in the future, in a future update. We have just completed a balance pass for a lot of the World War II ones as part of the new season. And yes, we will be taking a look at Cold War soon. Details to come.
Any chance for us to get new tank or tech tree tank skins soon? Say that fast 10 times.
Will we be getting more skins for tech tree tanks soon? We are always adding more vehicles as well as skins, so expect something new in an upcoming update.
Next question here. Is it possible for us to have a contest where we can submit decals or inscriptions once in a while for interested community members?
I can't recall if this was a contest. You might know better than I do, Tankz0rz, but I do know there was an individual where they submitted, I think, camouflages into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they submitted it to us, and we reviewed it, and it became something that we liked very much and made it an actual thing added to the game itself. To my knowledge, right now, I can't recall what tank or what the camouflage looks like, but I know this was something we followed up on. But also, to my recollection, there was some kind of legal concerns. So trying to follow up on this sort of deal, it's a great idea. It's a great suggestion. Not something we're going to prioritize by any means. There's just a lot of complications trying to address ideas like that.
Definitely. Next question here. It says, now that the Ignis Purgatio has multi-weapon systems with a single barrel, can we have more tanks like this, like the Object 934 and the MBT-70?
So, okay, this is kind of a co-op with my Plague, our lead tank designer, as well as our tech designer, who both took a look at this one. We can take another look. There were some technical restrictions that the Ignis simply didn't have to deal with. But we do plan to update some more vehicles with additional secondary weapons where applicable. And yes, the MBT-70 is one on that list sometime into the future. And although the smallest caliber weapon that we plan to support is a 20 millimeter autocannon, in testing, anything smaller was just simply unable to penetrate, even on the sides and the rear, and even the most lightly armored vehicles. So the next part of this kind of equation that we need to figure out is fitting them into the schedule, get it updated, while still adding new vehicles and features all the same.
Next question here. Can we take a look at the Caliban? I feel like this tank needs a little love.
So no, there's currently no plans to apply any updates to the Caliban. It's currently performing very well. It does a decent amount of damage when it hits, but with a very high survival rate and highest average lifetime of all heavy tanks of that tier, it is dealing a great deal of damage in the course of any given match. So no follow-ups on the Caliban at this time.
Next question. Seems similar to.
Sorry, Petty. I saw his hashtag. Love for my precious Caliban.
Similar to a question we just asked. Are we still planning to add multi-turret and multi-weapon support to tanks such as the Grant or Churchill one?
Okay, so multi-turret and multi-weapon support. This was something we introduced well over a year ago, starting with the Japanese line. And since then, we haven't really introduced more multi-turreted tanks. We do have some planned for Cold War and World War II. They just aren't in the upcoming schedule just yet, but you can look forward to them in a future release.
Awesome. Let's see, where were we? Next question. Will ranked battles make a return?
So this one comes up a lot. And I do want to address, I have seen it mentioned in the chat in previous streams, ranked battles. We know this is a feature that is missed by players. But the feature in and of itself, we'll probably rethink of ranked battles in a completely new format, leveraging what I talked about earlier of our new initiative with event battles to certain capacities. We on the design team we'll try to figure out a way that brings back what was important about ranked battles and maybe make it more part of an event battle. So something that we can consider and talk a little bit further on, maybe in our initiatives for next year. But just to be very, I see Mr. SBG in the chat, to be very blunt and clear, the original design and direction of ranked battles will not be returning in its original capacity.
Next question here. Hello. Do you intend to bring back the Girls in Panzer vehicles? A new film in the franchise will be released soon, and it'll be a good time to introduce new vehicles into Cold War.
If we do have any sort of Girls und Panzer collaborations going on, you will hear it from us first, either on stream, portal articles, trailers, etc. This is always boils down to a licensing agreement that we have to work out on our end. So nothing that we can give on execs at this time, but hopefully sometime in the future.
Next question. Would it be possible to have an option to apply our clan tag to our tank in place of an emblem or an inscription? Thank you very much. And I love the new Q&A system. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. There are currently locations for clan tags that can, in fact, be applied on the vehicles. That's just on the art and data side of things. However, we need some back-end support to be able to allow them to get applied. But hey, if there is enough interest, this was a great suggestion. This is something that, we could look into implementing at some point into the future. I did stress this a few times in the past. Next year, we are trying to prioritize and think more on what we can do about clans in our game next year. This is very well a great idea that could pool into that.
Next question here. It says, any chance for us to make the font larger in the in-battle communication feed? Do not shrink the previous message when the most recent one appears.
This, I should have categorized this with the earlier HUD question. So yeah, again, this is a kind of an accessibility thing. I know players may have trouble seeing the on-screen call-outs and notifications that pop up and go away pretty quickly. And you're asking, if we can make this a little bit larger on screen and being able to see the previous messages a little bit easier. This becomes a balance question in terms of the available real estate we have on the HUD and making sure that we don't overcomplicate or take up too much screen space with more HUD items. Again, this is something that we can talk with UI. We already made a huge pass on a lot of HUD updates earlier this year and late last year. So nothing is currently on schedule to follow up and make more improvements, but we can have that discussion, especially with our user experience design team members, and see if there is something that can be done. But like I said before, a lot of other priorities are on the laps of the UI team that are keeping them very focused. So it would be some time if we were to make some adjustments like this.
Next question here. Can we have Abby added to higher tiers It has a variety of routes to brawl within and is super heavy friendly. Recently on stream, we mentioned that Mountain Pass will return to Tier 10 matchmaking in the next season, and possibly Abbey 2, although we weren't 100% sure. And I got really excited because it's one of my favorite maps. Is there any chance for us to look at this?
So we are taking a look to bring Abbey back to Tier 10. As a matter of fact, at the start of the Flames of War season, our level designers, they did set up and they updated our battle map rotation. You are going to see some more maps into the higher tiers, as well as in Cold War in the higher eras 2 and 3. We included a lot more to kind of shuffle it up a little bit. We will continue to monitor that data. But yes, Mountain Pass has in fact made it to Tier 10. That is now available in map rotation. And we will look into bringing Abbey maybe in the near future as well.
Next question. Is it possible for us to add an option to either remove or change the position of 3D commanders in the post-battle results screen, the MVP screen?
Well, we probably won't have an option to move them around or something like that. But yes, we did discuss internally of trying to think of what can we do in the MVP screen, just some updates on that front. And one of the things that we really wanted to stress is shining the spotlight more on the tanks themselves rather strictly on the commanders. So something that we will think about, but nothing scheduled. If I had to be quite honest, probably won't see anything efforts on this front until sometime next year.
Let's see. Next question here. Is it possible for us to make the IS-3A and the Fatherland an auto reloader similar to how the PC version functions?
No, shout out to our lead vehicle designer. I might have to just read this verbatim. This is his quote here. Initially, these tanks were planned to be converted to auto reloaders, but unfortunately, due to the misunderstandings in how the mechanics work, there was actually a lot of negative feedback, and these plans were dropped altogether. During a battle, a auto reloader equipped vehicle tends to have the highest average damage compared to normal guns and auto loaders. Generally, most people just think about the damage per minute versus the damage the tank will output during the course of a battle. So right now, no, there's no current plans to update the IS-3 or Fatherland with auto reloader guns in mind.
Sounds good. Next question here. Would it be possible to add the King Dragon Type 59 and the WZ-111 vehicles to the Cold War premium lineup?
Tell you what, if there is enough interest to bring these tanks into Cold War, this is something that we can bring to attention with our production and live ops teams and see where it might fit into the schedule.
How is the MBT-70 faring? Can it get a possible penetration buff?
So the MBT-70 performing very well. This is another verbatim quote here from our lead vehicle designer. Currently no plans to improve its penetration. If we were going to buff the tank, it would most likely have to be improving its accuracy and gun handling for the MBT-70.
Next question. Why does it seem that the setter DPM is a little bit on the low end compared to other tier 7 lights?
Let's see. Because of its mobility and stealth, the tank actually performs pretty well. And that said, we did improve its reload times with the new season.
Let's see. Next question here. Do we feel that it would be effective to place artillery players into bot-only games, and do you think this would make non-artillery users happy?
Absolutely no. We are not going to punish players by putting them into, because they have a certain tank or a certain class of tanks that they want to play, that they are forced into a bot-only environment. That's a very punishing kind of idea to think of. Artillery has always and will always be part of World of Tanks Modern Armor. We have made changes to help balance arty in the game earlier, well, not this year, but last year, to help appease both the arty players as well as the non-arty players. And to this day right now, we don't have any current plans of further adjustments. Over time, we'll review the data, check the community sentiments, and see about whether or not we apply any further tuning to artillery.
Is it possible for us to get the T-30 in Era 1 Cold War?
Well, right now there are still plans to bring some of the more bigger iconic tanks from World War II and possibly into the Cold War eras. It is just a matter of fitting them into our schedule and roadmap. UK, however, did receive their TD, and the US TD line is still waiting to be added.
Is it possible to have contracts for special skins?
So contracts that are no longer tank specific, no longer premium tank or mercenary tanks, right? It's an interesting evolution of the contract system. This would have to go, we'd have to float this by both events, live ops, and us in design can have a kind of a huddle discussion. And, is this appropriate for the contract system? So it's an interesting idea. We'll float it by, we'll have some conversations and see if that makes sense.
Let's see. Next question. Can we please do something for this season for veterans who play normal maps instead of the same 3? Because new players in co-op Era 1 / tiers 3 and 4.
The low tiers. Okay,
Right.
So some context. In co-op mode only, both Cold War and World War II, yes, we tried something in terms of reducing the map rotation to better cater to new players, to help them kind of learn the game. It's a complex game with a lot of mechanics, and we wanted to help them familiarize with the maps by starting them off with a finer selection of maps before going wider with the large selection. But yes, when there's new players in the queue, in the matchmaking, and our core and veteran players jump in there, they are often scooped into that matchmaking with the new players and are kind of stuck in seeing the same 5 to 6 maps because that's just the restriction set for them. What I will say is, yes, we will be changing that in the next season. We collected enough data on that front. We've been developing some new player matchmaker specific things to improve new players in their own education and efficacy in the game. And so the whole map rotation in co-op, we will be reverting that. And so you will have the full selection of maps once again. Again, that's going to be aimed for next season.
Next question here. Is it possible for us to receive a small reward when playing with members of the same clan or community or platoon in general? It doesn't have to be something large, maybe something small like a small XP or silver boost, etc. It'd be nice to encourage people from the same communities to play together.
Incentives to play in platoons and clans together. As mentioned earlier, we have clan-specific ideas and planning for next year. So this one is a great addition to that. We'll keep it in mind.
Alrighty, let's see. Any chance for us to make it so the World War II and Cold War tanks can be used on both teams in custom game rooms?
I think there's a lot of hilarity opportunity there for custom games to, let's put that Cunningham up against the Abrams.
That's what I was about to say. let the Abrams be the Goliath tank.
Yeah, I always love the concept and development to improve custom games in some ways, to give users more opportunity and options to play crazy and wild new ways of playing the game, empowered to their own tool sets. What I will say is, with everything else that we plan to put into the game and our current scheduling, anything custom games is typically low priority, but we're not going to write it off the table. This will be something that we continue to consider.
Awesome. Are there any plans for a public queue system where players could search for people to platoon with, and add filters, something similar to using mics, no mics, etc.?
Another one for next year, as we continue to think about improvements to platoons and clans, this might be better fit for something we try to create for next year. Funny enough, we did talk about, and I think we even had a poll talking about with Super Test about kind of an auto platoon system to allow players when they go into a match a way to just join a platoon if there's an available one, to help kind of create that social dynamic. No headway on that. Again, we'll follow up more next year.
Awesome. Last question here. Can we have a square map as a default? It would give newer players a better view of the map and give them greater awareness.
We are in support of this, but here's what I will say on that front. As of this season, actually, or maybe it was last season, we did update the default setting for new players, which used to have the mini-map in the upper left location. I'm looking at the video feed and realize it's mirrored. The upper left. And the default is now in the bottom right, as it had used to been. We still get the option, of course, if players want to switch it. But yes, it is still defaulted to be the circle radar map to the players. This is something we in design will have some consideration and thoughts on whether or not we want to default to the radar map. To your credit, though, yes, the square map is the better option for full map situational awareness, which is going to lead to better success of the matches in and of themselves. But maybe there's something else that we can think about and apply rather than pushing players immediately into this kind of complicated map when they're trying to digest and understand all the other systems of the game. Maybe there's other alternatives we can like slowly wean the players onto the big map after a few matches. Because try to think about it this way. A new player that might be already accommodated with other shooters, jumping into our game where they are used to kind of a circular radar of near proximity, that's something very familiar to them. Giving them a large map right away might be very intimidating and hard to digest. And we did do a lot of qualitative studies and research on this in the past that kind of proved all this for us. But I do agree. Getting players to adapt and learn the square map will lead to more success into the game. It's just a matter of how do we approach it and what are the steps that we take to get the players to use it.
Alrighty, I think we have a couple winners to announce here, and then that's it for our stream today. Our winner here is Aquatic Soul 182. Congratulations. And Jammy Squidling. Congratulations.
Awesome.
You are our winners for our Jaguar 1. That about wraps it up here for us today. I appreciate everyone hanging out. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. See you on the battlefield, everyone.
See you all then. Thank you.
Take care.